So the plane is just getting ready to land in Puerto Rico, and I look over at Brandon, and he's all sleepy-eyed, and I'm like, okay, when the plane lands, everybody claps. It's just what happens when you land in Puerto Rico, because I've done this before, and he hasn't, so I thought he should know. And he just starts cracking up, and he's like almost in tears laughing, because just the thought of everyone clapping when we land is absolutely hysterical. So I didn't say anything else because I knew right away that he didn't believe me. So a few minutes go by, the plane lands, and I'm sitting there with a big smile on my face, waiting for it. And we land, the pilot speaks, and everybody starts clapping, and I look over at Brandon with this big smile, and I start clapping really excitedly, and he's literally in tears because he's in shock because he had no idea that this was like a real thing. So that was a great way to start the trip. Is there room? And the ukulele. We're good. Thank you.
Totally got it. I got it. I got it. He got it too. Posting off.
We had only been there a couple of days when we almost burnt down the kitchen. It was a gas stove, and I was trying to make some lunch for us, and the guys were outside, and I lit the back right eye, and the whole back side of the stove just went into flames. It was like 3 or 4 foot of flames up the back wall, and the guys came in, and I went out and tried to get help, and I was yelling at the lady next door on the front porch in Spanish, trying to get a fire extinguisher, and she didn't have anything. I came back, the guys had put the fire out. They just wet a towel and were batting at the flames with the towel, and there was water all over the floor. But turns out there was a gas leak in the back of the stove where the connection comes from the wall to the stove. So, yeah, that was pretty scary.
It's downright lovely out there. Warm, salt spray, just dynamite.
Brian's getting a rental car, and we're going to take Kathy's car back to her. We've had it for 2 days, and it's been good. It only died on us once, but it's been good. We were on day 3 and we still had not been in the water. It was flat, there was a big swell on its way, but nothing was really breaking. And we went to Maria's and it was literally like knee high. And Brandon said, well, I'm not paddling out in this. So, you know, he tried to get a couple of shots of me and Ryan trying to surf, and it was so small and awkward that it was just awkward. We were just desperate. So we paddled out, caught a couple little waves, and got our fix, came back in, and tried to make something of the rest of the day.
How you doing? Don't trip. Sprinkle a little black pepper. It's been in there since we got here now. Had some delicious pizza
And Jessica had some mahi bites. And a couple beers. And that camera could not possibly get any closer to my face. I still have a little bit of an appetite. If it gets any closer, I may eat it.
Got worked on the inside. All I feel is salt water in my sinuses. Ready for a nap.
We found table roll.
Let's go anywhere, I'll catch the bus down at the square. Pack my bags and hope to fly. All I see is the open sky, an island and the sea. Caribbean wind blows my hair, cute sundress and these bikinis.
Hike that starts in the woods at Surfers Beach, and it goes sort of alongside the coast, but like up the mountain and then back down the mountain, and it like touches down in a few really cool little beach spots that are rocky, and there's cool rock formations and everything, and ultimately it's supposed to take you to this big long open stretch of beach, but there was already so much swell that by the time we got all the way to that big long open beach, there was just so much water that you couldn't go down there and enjoy it. So we just sort of stopped up on the top of the mountain and looked down and everything. But still, the hike was really cool without even going down to that beach. It was lush and beautiful, and the sun was shining through the leaves, and it was just really cool.
What are you doing, Ryan?
I'm drinking a beer while I'm pumping gas, because here in Puerto Rico, as you buy beer at the gas station, they ask you if you want it open, and it seems to be a common occurrence. We thought it kind of odd, but it seems to be something that happens every day here in Puerto Rico. So, cheers to road beers.
Good ones at that.
Yep. I'm about to go jump out of a perfectly good airplane. And then do what these guys are doing right here. Flying around in the sky. Yeah, can't wait. You guys have fun? Thanks to drop me off.
San Juan is actually the second oldest city in the Western Hemisphere. The Spanish settled there in 1521, and then before that there was a settlement called Caparra, and that was the island's first capital. French pirates came over in 1528 and started raiding, so they started building forts around the city. The western side is the oldest, and there are a couple of forts there and the governor's mansion. And there are, to this day, 300 to 450-year-old homes and buildings sitting right there in Old San Juan. It's pretty incredible. So today it's just a little tourist town where you can go buy keychains and little local gifts and things. So we decided to go check it out.
Bocadas? I don't know, I think that's what it's called. All the local jumpers at the drop zone suggested that we go here and meet up with them and continue to drink.
We just devoured a chicken sandwich.
What's happening, Brendan?
What's happening is I'm getting old. I pulled my groin and now my knee hurts.
Oh.
And all I did was surf some fucking waist-high mush.
Can you get up from there?
Honestly, I don't know. My knees like really fucking hurt. I don't know what I did.
Or is this the culprit?
No, those only 2 of those are mine. Jess drank all those.
I didn't drink all those. I'm just having this one.
I sound drunk, dude.
Am I slurring? I've got it recorded, so if I'm slurring, I'm gonna know about it. Look at you with your cane!
Not even kidding, dude.
Your driftwood cane. That's epic. Oh god. This is pathetic.
Like a cramp.
Sad. It gets worse. It just gets worse.
Black cat.
Do not chase that chicken.
Get that chicken.
I mean that. You're cute, but don't eat that chicken.
Go get that chicken.
They're horrible.
Yeah, they are pretty darn.
Hello.
It was the biggest swell in 10 years, and they were saying that it was actually bigger than the one 10 years ago. It was 22 feet at 19 seconds that day, and there was already a lot of debris in Aguada in that area along the shore because there had been a few hurricanes last year that washed in a lot of debris. And when I say debris, I mean huge, like trees laying in the sand. And that afternoon, they were all over the water. I mean, it was massive, and there were people everywhere. The locals came out, they wanted to see the waves, and it was really big. And it was just so powerful. It was washing out the road in Aguada, and you had to be careful where you stood if you were standing on the side of the road looking at the surf, because there were areas where the ground just fell into the water. So it was huge. It was our last day on the island, and we just wanted to drive around and just check out the surf. It was sort of a lifetime opportunity, I guess you could say. It doesn't happen every day, a swell that big. We thought about going and looking at the waterfalls, but nah, we wanted to see it. The jet skis were leaving out of Little Malibu and going around at Tres Palmas, and the guys were doing some toe-in surfing, and it was just a big, mushy, oversized wave at Tres Palmas, but it was really something to see. Cars just lined the road there at Tres Palmas. After that, we had our last meal in Aguada next to the house, and then we packed our boards and packed our bags and went to the airport.
Completely under that seat in front of you. If you look to the left and the right of this aircraft, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see two aircraft.